Hello everybody and welcome to part 3 and the final part of the miniseries called Remnants. This little story will be continued later, but for now it's the end. If you do enjoy this video, as always, please like, subscribe, and check out Dragon's channel in the description below, since he did do a lot of work for this series, mainly because he was the main voice. Which is really good for me because I don't like voicing it, even though my voice hurts a bit from all the voices I did. Yes. Well, all that out of the way, please enjoy the video.
It was our last shot. If we failed here, all that's ever existed would be over. Me and my friends put together a plan to stop Shigaraki by going back in time. Unfortunately, he managed to stop us, leaving us in the moment right when he obtained the cosmic power.
Crap! He stopped us!
Someone next to me yelled. Crap, he stopped us again! I yelled.
How is this possible?
The person asked. While they did, I shifted my gaze to look at them. To my surprise, I saw Nora, my sister who had died in our first attempt at stopping Shigaraki.
What are you doing here?
She asked, looking at me confused. I looked behind her and was surprised to see the first troops we had sent back in time standing there, alive and well. At this point, everyone who had survived Shigaraki's initial destruction was here twice.
Not gonna let you stop me,
Shigaraki said, looking at us with murderous intent. This was a point where he wasn't very used to his powers, so it likely meant we could hold our own for a bit, or at least so I hoped. What's going on? The past me asked, likely very confused as to what was happening. I would be. I mean, a group just as big, if not bigger than his, just appeared in front of him, containing himself. What wouldn't be confusing about that? He stopped us again. What do we do now? I reiterated, looking at my allies for advice. I was just an errand boy, not a leader.
Don't worry about it. We were prepared for it this time,
The shieldless Midoriya said.
Kevin, you and Hatsumi get Jay on his way. Everyone else keep Shigaraki busy until then.
Kevin gave a nod and went to work on my pack, along with Hatsume. It turns out they had foreseen all of this happening, but they prepared accordingly. The backpack was supposed to get me to break through the barrier again, but Shigaraki had damaged it slightly when pulling me into this time. It would take us a bit to get going. Meanwhile, Shigaraki was onto us. It took 10 seconds, but he took a step, walking towards us.
By the source of all power, let the way of all things be revealed once more. Let the earth spit and join back. Way of the earth reign, I summon you. I, Izuku Midoriya, order you to strengthen my allies.
The shieldless Midoriya enchanted, giving strength to all our troops. The moment after the enchantment was cast, seeing Shigaraki approach us, our troops rushed at him, wanting to stop him and take him down. John and Kel were the first to reach him, punching him back. Robin, the one from the first time we went back in, then jumped forward, throwing his batarangs at Shigaraki, which blew up in his face. He then jumped back. Taking over, the ghost-type Midoriya shot an energy blast at Shigaraki, his past counterpart joining in, keeping the celestial being at bay, even if only for a second. I stared at the battlefield while the mechanics worked on the backpack I had given them. Suddenly, my perception of it changed. It started slowing down. More accurately, I was speeding up. My sister was forcing me into what was called a flash time.
So, what's going on? What are you doing here?
Nora asked. I think this one was the one who had gone back in time.
I'd like to know that too.
Her past self added. Yeah, what's going on? My past self added. He seemed to have no idea compared to the other two. Was I really that clueless? To make a long story short, we escaped. We tried to go back in time to stop Shigaraki before he could attain his power. We failed and Nora, well, she died. A couple months after that, after I found out our days were numbered, we went back again, this time led by me. Kevin and Atsume are fixing up the power pack for the plan to work. We just need to buy enough time for them to fix it. Then I can go back and stop all this from ever happening. I explained, hoping it was concise enough. Got it! They all responded in unison. The blast from the Izuku ran out of power. Two Raftalias, taking over, rushed at Shigaraki, smashing him with their hammers.
Shooting Star Smash!
They both shouted, unleashing a devastating attack. They both jumped back, revealing that Shigaraki was unharmed. He had created a temporary force field, which he used to block the attack. He then mustered some of his strength together, shooting an energy blast at us. One of the Ghost Midoriyas shot back, trying to cancel it out, with the other one adding his power onto that. But it wasn't enough, so our two Kryptonian powerhouses added on top of that, managing to at least keep Shigaraki's power at bay. Nora rushed at him, hitting him 3 times, causing him to lose concentration. Then the other Nora hit him 3 times, and then the past me did the same. Their attacks were followed by 2 Ochakos, still not used to that name, who turned into their giant chicken forms to attack Shigaraki. Shigaraki pushed one of them away and grabbed the other one, slamming the animal against the ground. With one quick thrust he killed the one Ochako, pulling her guts out, while she let out a loud unholy shriek. It was obvious Shigaraki was starting to get used to his powers. He stared back at us, ready to continue the fight, as Ochako withered away and turned to dust. "How are you guys doing?" I asked Kevin and Hatsume.
We still need a bit more to get this baby going.
Hatsume replied. "Hurry, we're getting slaughtered out here," I replied. In the meantime, John was keeping his own against Shigaraki for a moment. He and Kel were tag-teaming him, with Robin and the Ghost Midoriyas providing ranged support. It actually looked like they were going to beat him, but then Shigaraki opened his palm. He had created a small green shard which completely neutralized the 2 supers. Robin tried to jump in to steal the shard from his enemy, but Shigaraki evaded and hit Robin in the spine. A loud crack rang across the battlefield as Robin was sent flying against a wall.
Motion carried.
The Celestial Midoriya, who seemed to be trying to figure out how to help, said. Suddenly there were 7 of him, surrounding Shigaraki. They all charged simultaneously. They were decaying, but the process was slow, so they had a chance to stop him. Shigaraki blocked attack after attack, looking for his opening. Luckily for us, we had numbers. Every time Shigaraki would stall Celestial Izuku, another one of us would rush at him, ready to buy time. This is how many of our troops met their fates, as one after another kept dying in an effort to buy time. I saw the shieldless Midoriya die along with the final Ochako. The Raphtalia let out a sorrowful scream, each screaming to their version of Midoriya. The Raphtalia rushed at Shigaraki, ready to take him down. Shigaraki stopped them in their tracks, ending them quickly. The fight was taking its toll. More and more of us were falling. I saw ally after ally die, reduced to dust, all while I sat on the sidelines waiting for these 2 to finish the repairs and adjustments. The only one who was standing firm and holding his ground was Celestial Izuku, but even he had a limited amount of time left. It looked like both of the celestial beings were getting more and more used to their powers, which still put them on a more or less even playing field.
It's done,
Kevin said in a rushed fashion. "Finally!" I exclaimed, putting it on before they even had a chance to blink. "Now what?" I asked. The pack had undergone some modifications, so I wasn't sure exactly how it would work.
Here, take this,
Kevin said, pulling the time bomb from the satchel he had on. It was a good thing to have it, but I'd still had no idea how to actually use it.
And this,
He added, handing me a piece of paper. "What is this?" I asked.
Those are the instructions on how to operate the bomb.
Hatsumi said while groping my body, making sure the pack was properly adjusted. Not gonna lie, it got me a bit excited. She had a small button in the upper part of my chest, and suddenly parts of the pack started glowing. At the same time, I started feeling more and more energized. I felt like I could do anything. Kevin looked at me and, with a stern expression, shouted,
Now
Before he could even finish the sentence, I was already halfway across town, accelerating and gaining power in order to break the time barrier. Probably sensing what was going on, Shigaraki ditched the fight against Midoriya and started going after me. I could see him come close. He had already adapted to my speed. He was about to catch up to me when Midoriya showed up again, pushing him away. Shigaraki was fed up. He knew what we were planning now. He used all of his power and anger, and with a scream he fully disintegrated Midoriya, leaving nothing but a watch behind. After the other celestial being was gone, he set his sights back on me. I kept running, trying to reach the time stream, where I'd be safe. I'd see the time stream open before me, but before I reached it, Shigaraki reached out, trying to kill me. He stretched his hand out, causing me to stretch out forward, wanting to evade my fate. He didn't hit me, Nora had just ran in front of him, getting in the way and saving my life.
Run, Jay, run!
She said before completely turning to dust. The last thing I saw on her face was a soft smile. Tears streaming down my face. I had entered the time stream, the portal closing right behind me. The danger was now over. I could focus on the mission. I picked a random date and time, 50 years ago, and set my attention to it. I heard a scream behind me which caught my attention. Behind me was Shigaraki, literally reopening the portal by sheer force of will. Seeing this happen, I tried going faster, exiting the time stream in dimension 25, 50 years ago. I knew Shigaraki was after me, so I quickly set a time bomb on the ground and started setting it up. Granted, I wasn't an expert when it came to pan-dimensional bombs, but I managed to set it up quickly thanks to the instructions Kevin and Hatsume gave me. Literally 3 picoseconds before Shigaraki reached me, I hit the button that set off the machine. A wave of energy emanates from the bomb. I was pushed back by the energy, as my backpack was creating a counter frequency. On the other hand, Shigaraki was fully erased from reality, right before my very eyes. Afraid of what was happening, I closed my eyes. When I opened them again, I was in a weird place, a place between places. I was inside the multiverse itself. There was nothing but energy around me.
The shackles have been loosened,
I heard a voice say, but I had no time to react. Moments after I was spat out of the portal here in the middle of the desert.
Jay thought to himself, having gone through all the events that led him to this moment. He opened up his chrono navigator, which didn't recognize the universe or even multiverse he was in.
I think it worked,
he said to himself, answering his question from before.
I think it worked. It's going to need some recalibrating, but it worked.
He had sacrificed a lot and was likely the last remnant of his world, his universe, even his whole multiverse.
What do I do now?
He asked, tears flowing down his eyes as the realization hit him. He would never see his friends or even his sister again. He was alone, now and forever. He took off his mask and hit the sand in frustration, tears and snot falling down his eyes as he cried and mourned in silence. "You look pathetic," a man in a yellow suit stated, as he appeared next to Jay. He seemed to be enjoying the look of the fallen Speedster.
Reverse Flash?
Jay asked, confused, looking at the man who had ruined his father's life. The moment he spotted the man in yellow, anger was added to the sadness he felt. This man had tormented Barry Allen for most of his life before finally delivering the final blow. A combination of multiple emotions swirled up inside of Jay as he looked at the man in yellow. "Yes, Jay, the one and only," Eobard said, bowing to the boy, an evil-looking grin on his face. And that's the end of the video, and this mini-series. It will be picked up in a couple months when, the new Multiversity or Crisis of Infinite Dekus or whatever I decide to call it comes out. Yes, the Reverse Flash appears, showing us that Jay is not the only one to have survived the destruction of his multiverse, which honestly does lead to a couple different possibilities. What do you think's gonna happen? I always like hearing theories, especially when I make this stuff up. For some reason, when I make the scripts completely made up, the script turns out a lot smaller than when I just doing a normal what if. So yeah. Sorry if this series seemed a bit short for that. I mean, I could have done one video, but I'd rather have it spread out so you can be like, okay, yeah, this is the beginning, this is the middle, this is the end. And yeah, that way I can also hear some of your theories. Yeah. Final fight with Shigaraki going back in time. They fight him with their past forces, and sadly, they win, kind of. I mean, everyone's now sacrificed because previous multiverse dead, but at least some people managed to survive. So, yeah. I mean, I don't have that much to say. Please, if you like this mini-series, like, subscribe. I know this series won't get that many views because it doesn't have a catchy title, but still, I hope you all enjoyed it and find what I'm doing here interesting. I don't just want to make what ifs, I also want to test different storylines and see what I can make. So I I'm always like adding this new storyline to different what ifs, like what I'm planning to do with certain stories in the future, or what I set up in Superboy number 10, and in the rest of that series. Was always to test out my writing skills, and writing these little, I love multiversal stories too, so writing these out and experimenting seems fun and maybe a good idea. And if you guys enjoy it, I'll make more of it. If you don't, then I'll limit myself here, because I honestly plan to make this one that leads into the multiversity, that kind of leads into smaller crossovers between different series. For example, I don't know, have Venom, what if Izuku bonded with Venom, crossover with what if Peter Parker was an MHA, and they go on a mini adventure because reasons, I don't know. So lead to stuff like that, because, yeah, I find that interesting. The shackles have been loosened. What I am able to do has expanded. Always thought that would be interesting. So yeah, if you enjoy this and are looking for more, hit that like button, subscribe, and just wait patiently. A new What If, the last one I'll be starting out for a couple months, is gonna come out in 3 days, because in 3 days it's my birthday. Yes. This should come out on the 20th, right? That means, yes. This should come out on the 20th, that means the 23rd, yeah. So yeah, in 3 days you'll get the continuation of what's happening in the multiverse with a new series. Hope you guys are up for that, and until then, have an absolutely fantastic day, everyone. Bye!